Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's American GTE Series hosted by Raidillon TV. Where's Rob and where's Craig? I hear you all shout. So tonight you've got a couple of new voices. I'm Harry, Harry Wills. I am the promoter of the series. And tonight I'm joined by Casey Metzger.
Thank you very much, Harry.
So tonight we are racing at Daytona International Speedway on the road course, and we've got two races lined up for this evening. So race one is held during the day in the nice bright sunshine at Florida, and race two will be held in the evening at the night time in much cooler track conditions. Current time out there is just a little past 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we've got a 19 kilometers easterly wind, which I don't think we're making any difference to the drivers. But we are going to see some fantastic racing. These guys have been practicing all week for this event. There's a lot of new drivers, a lot of new faces that Raidillon TV and also RacingSimRigs Series haven't seen before, and we are really excited to be having everybody here and having hopefully what is some good racing, and not, shall we say, some of the racing that we have seen in the past. So guys are heading out on track at the minute. The AM drivers are heading out to do their first of the time laps as they cross the line. We have somebody here who visits Daytona on a regular basis. Casey, you're a Daytona 24-hour spectator, and yeah, tell me about your experiences with that.
Yeah, I am. I go to the Daytona 24. Each year now I've made that my annual visit over there, and it is, it's a spectacular event. Daytona is such a special place. A lot of history, a lot of names come to mind when you think of Daytona: Earnhardt, Andretti, Hurley Haywood, 5-time winner of the Rolex 24. So it draws a lot of big names. It's a lot of prestige. It's the most prestigious race, in North American endurance racing. So this side of the pond, it's one of the biggest tracks that, sports cars go to each and every year. But, as you mentioned, the guys have been practicing all week. We've seen, some of the pace these guys have, in some of the different cars, like the Corvette. I'm watching James Howard here right now. Those guys have been putting up a lot of speed on the straightaways. And I look for them to carry a lot of that through to the race. Not sure, how their setups are going to go. The Corvettes, they don't have any of the pre-made setups like with what, are typically available for like the Porsches or the Fords or the BMWs, some of the stuff that you'd normally get from like VRS or Pure Driving School. None of those setups are available for these cars because they are new to the service. They haven't had an official race, here at Daytona yet. So I'm really interested to see, how the Corvettes fare going into this race here tonight.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one major thing. So these guys have unfortunately had to be tweaking previous setups and setups that aren't necessarily suited to this track to try and get them to drive. So there's going to be a lot of disparity with the setups that these guys are running, and we can see that in the times that are coming through already. So James Howard has just set a 41.6 in the Corvette, and we're now with Sam, who's in the Ford, one of the few Fords that we have in the series, and he's gone out and done a first time of a 43.5. And I think the Ford, I don't think this is a particularly Ford track. I think the Ford's going to suit something a little bit more fast-flowing, more corners rather than straight out-and-out pace. But we are going to see, hopefully we're going to see some really quick times. We have some fantastic drivers in here, some guys who are really, really well-known, and I think we're going to be in for some good racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Sam here is just coming through what is turns 3 and 4 on NASCAR to complete what I think will be his second timed lap. Let's just sort of see what time he can do. So top speed of the Ford, I think, is probably similar to what the other guys can get, but ultimately I just don't feel it gets there quick enough. So Sam, does he improve? Don't think he does improve. He has improved by 2/10. So he does a 43.7. He'll be starting the race in 7th. James Howard. So this is one of the quicker AM guys. He's got the current pole time at the minute. So let's just see what sort of time he can set as he comes through onto the start-finish line. Let's see if he can go quicker here. So already he's up on the top speed doing a few kilometres quicker, 2:96. And he remains pole. We have a couple of guys coming through here. So Carl Fredrickson, and let's see what sort of time he can set. I think the grid for the Anfield we've got tonight is all quite a bit of a mixed bag. I think that's the polite way of saying it. We've got some fairly low I rating guys. We've got some fairly higher I rating guys. So the I rating cap here is 2,000. So any driver that's above that 2,000 threshold will be a pro driver. As we see Carl really making a mess, knocking cones everywhere of the bus stop chicane there. He was good to hold it rather than put it in a barrier. Still knocking cones about, bless him. Look, it's causing absolute chaos. I'm sure the clerk of the course will have words with him after that. Clerk of the course. Sorry, that's an English term. I don't know what you call it in America. We call it the clerk of the course. You probably call it some American race official jobby thing.
Yeah, our maintenance crews, I'm sure they'll appreciate that, having to go out there and clean up.
Yeah, bless. Oh, well, we're going to get some cones replaced. So that is, I believe, all of our AM drivers sorted. So James Howard, they're taking the pole at the minute. We're Lyden Lee second. One of the VRT drivers that does compete in our sister championship in the World Series. So we're now going to get the pros lined up to head out onto track. So now we are going to see the pros coming out of their grid stalls to line up at the end of pit lane to go and do their qualifying. We do have more pros in this than we do have AMs. And again, a very Corvette heavy grid, as you can see, which again is going to see, let's see what sort of times these guys can do. Now, this is going to be some of the quicker guys. Obviously, we've got Jeff Applegreen. He's one of the top guys. Christian Furs, one of the RSR World Series drivers. Let's see what sort of pace he can put. As well as Chris Hamer. I believe Chris is one of the... Oh, no, he is in the Corvette. So Chris was on the fence, but he's going to be in the BMW or the Ford or the Corvette, but I think he settled in the Corvette. So let's call these guys onto track now. Track is now live. Can we have all pros on track now, please? Track is live. So here we see the pros just about to go, and we can see a good picture there of Applegreen's car. That is a stunning paint scheme. So the pros more towards the Porsche. We see a few more Porsches than we do Corvettes. So here we go. These guys are heading out. Now they're going to leave a good amount of space in between each other, just to sort of make sure that they don't catch somebody up, because we do have a rule in our qualifying sessions that there is no overtaking during the qualifying. So it will only be to sit behind the car ahead. As we see Gavin Boyett. Gavin Boyett's one of the RSR World Series drivers. So he's parked his BMW for this race and got in his Porsche. Obviously the World Series was just a couple of hours ago, hosted at Imola. One of the Valhalla Sim Racing drivers there. And let's see what sort of times these guys can put in.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the top speed of the Porsches is compared to some of the vets that we have here in our pro category here. I do expect the Porsches to be a little bit quicker on the infield, but I'm more interested here to see what they can do on the straights.
Well, we saw 296 out of James Howard as he crossed the line, or just after the line, which is a blistering pace. I'm guessing the rear wing on that car was, well, practically off.
Yeah, probably pretty well trimmed out.
Yeah, he's not... that's as slippery as a fish can get as he came across the line with that 296. And I think that in miles per hour in your money, Casey, what's that? I want it's over 180, right?
Yeah, probably about... When I was practicing, because I was actually scheduled to run in this series, so we were topping out about 182 on our own. In the draft, probably expect to hit about 180, somewhere between 182, 185. So and we had them pretty well trimmed.
Yeah, the draft is going to play a massive part of these guys to see who's going to be putting moves on each other into turn one, which is arguably probably the, well, should we say the sketchiest corner of all going through here.
It absolutely it is. Turn one can be very tricky. You know, your cars don't like to do two things at once when you're talking about braking and turning. And that's something that you really have to deal with going down into turn one at Daytona. You know, you're braking, your trail braking going down into turn one, going from about 180, 185 miles an hour down to about 60. and all while turning left at the same time, you know, going through the little kink, you know, leading up to turn one and then into the turn itself. So it can be a very tricky corner.
What could possibly go wrong? We do have a car, unfortunately, taking a trip onto the gravel. Jacob Schneider in the 00 Corvette has gotten off track on his first lap there. So he's going to get himself set up and in for doing his second time lap.
Big lockup by Joe Jr. in the Ferrari there, getting into turn one, just after I was talking about it too.
So Joe Jr. actually is not from any of your, shall we say, expected countries. Joe Jr. is based in Jamaica. Just to show the sort of diversity we've got through here. We've got some English guys, and we do obviously have some American guys, but we do have a chap who lives in Jamaica. I don't know if he is Jamaican, but Joe's many miles away, I think, from all of us. And of course, in the UK right now, it is 1:15 in the morning, which is a fantastic time to be sat in front of your computer. But we are in a lockdown, so there's not actually a hell of a lot else we could be doing. So sim racing has become the main pastime of many people in the UK. As we see a car having a lockup there, I think that is Joe Jr., isn't it? So some lockup going into turn one. So again, reset and try and get himself sorted for race two. Christian Furs tops the board, so he's 7/10 quicker with that lap with a 1:40.9. Christian's a quick guy. Christian's one of the top drivers we've got in World Series in the AM category. The AM category in World Series is set slightly higher than it is here in the American Series. So because he is over the 2K threshold, but he is beaten by Jersey Glack there with a 1:40.4, that's quick on this sort of track, because this track's not cool. I think track temp at the minute is 31 degrees Celsius, and forgive me, I've not got that in your old money there, Casey. So what's that in Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit, you are looking at a track temp, let's see, 87 degrees. So it is fairly cool.
It's fairly cool, but that's still quick times on a track temper. That,
oh yeah, absolutely. You're almost getting into the old, you know, C7 Corvette prototype times there with a 1:40.4. Some of your slower guys there would be running, you know, about those times. And what's supposed to be the top class car, or was up until a few months ago.
Yeah.
So that's real. That's not hanging about.
No, he's quick time. So when we get into the night race, and of course we will have a reversed grid in the night race, so it'll be a random number pulled, and we will reverse the grid from there. And then we're going to see what sort of times these guys can do in the night, which will be substantially cooler than what it is now. So here we are with Jacob Schneider in the 00 Corvette. Nice looking livery on that. K&N air filters. Let's have a K&N on my Legend when I raced in it many moons ago, till the wife stamped that little avenue of pleasure out.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little unstable there under the braking down into turn one. And that was something that we were having to deal with the vets.
Mm.
So I'm wondering if him and Tom and James were able to get that sorted.
So there's two guys out there right now that haven't set a time. Taylor Lane, who I think has I think he's elected to start from the back because he's not out on track at the minute, or he's had a bad run. Where does Chris Hamer put himself? Let's have a look. Where is he? So Chris Hamer's gone 9th with a 42.1, which is not a bad time at all. We've got Kenny Rodriguez here, so let's see what he's doing. So he's just gone out, so he's going to be setting his first times here. So we're going to be staying with Kenny, and let's see what sort of stuff he can do as he comes into going out onto the oval part as he comes through Daytona. What is Daytona turn 2? And now he's heading down towards the bus stop chicane. Now, the bus stop chicane is somewhere that you always want to try and put a move on. But realistically, deep down, it's just not the best thing to do, because you do get that draft coming out onto the oval and you are able to catch that guy ahead. But is making a move into the bus stop chicane a completely necessary thing? Is something you have to weigh up. It's treacherous without having a car on your outside and compromising your line.
Yeah, getting into the bus stop can be tricky. If you can make a move going into the bus stop, it is one of the better spots on the track to try and make that move. But you want to make sure that you get a clean run in and a clean run out. So if you can't complete that pass, without having a clean line through there, you're best off just kind of hanging back, get a good run coming out, and then you can really utilize the draft, going through NASCAR 3 and 4 and onto the front stretch and make that really good, clean run getting down into turn 1.
So let's see what sort of top speed we've got here from Kenny. So he's obviously running quite not a heavy rear wing, but definitely slightly more, because he wasn't able to get up into the 295 plus mark with the Ks. So let's see. As I've just had a message from Chris Hamer to say he left the car on full tank. So if he's left it on full tank with the 42.1, he is going to be a quick boy in the race. So Kenny's just gone through the horseshoe as he comes down now. Now this here is a car. So as the car comes through there, it's unsettled, and then obviously you've got to brake, get the car straightened up as you brake into this next corner. Keep it tight, which Kenny does. Gets a good line on the apex of that. So double apex corner, that is. So it's a clip on the start, and then you clip it on the second. And as he goes down, he's in the bus stop chicane on the back straight now. As he's gone through, a bit of grass picked up there. Hopefully he didn't get a slowdown. Let's see what sort of time Kenny can do here. So 42.7 was his first time. So let's just see what we've got from him. And again, we've seen that he's probably running a slightly heavier rear wing than some, only able to get up to 290 kilometers an hour rather than getting up into the 295 bracket, which is what some of the guys were doing. And he crosses the line.
Yeah, he is just a little bit off on top speed.
Yeah, so he's 2/10 slower on his already existing time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is qualifying complete. So we are going to go through the results of qualifying. And well, in the meantime, these drivers can grab themselves a drink, take a toilet break, and stock themselves up or whatever they need to do. So here we can see the qualifying results. So Jersey Glaze takes pole with a 140.494. Christian Furs with a 140.999. And then we're into the 41s with Jeff Applegreen. And I believe that is our top Porsche with a 141.177. James Howard leading AM, not far off the pro times with a 141.634. Will Paisley, 141.9, sorry. Spec Welch with a 142.059, very closely behind Gavin Boyett, just 1/100th of a second there, splitting them, 142.069. Leiden's the second place amateur with a 142.116. Then we've got Chris Hamer, who was full of fuel, with a 142.179. And Tom Mustakis with a 142.2 leads into your top 10 for this event. Going now down into what will be 11th place. We have Eric Kaluga with a 142.397. Daniel Trujano is at a 142.415. Michael Kaluga. And I'm pretty sure they're brothers, but I haven't asked them. 142.575. Andrew Hewson with a 142.704. And we've got Kenny Rodriguez. These out your top 15 with a 42.7. Paul Lindsay with a 42.8. Where we have our first Ford, and I believe our only Ford of the night, with a 143.095. After that, Carl Fredrickson, 143.376. Stephen Martinez with a 143.626. Greg Edney with a 143.893. Joe Jr. With a 144.166. Jacob Schneider in the 00 with a 144.317. We've got Matt Balfassi with a 144.658. John Casey with a 147.072. And then we have two drivers who have not been able to set times. Taylor Lane without setting a qualifying time, but his practice time is a 42.4. So that's if that was going to be his qualifying time, that would have put him, I believe, 13th, which is an absolutely fantastic number you want to be starting from. And then we have another guy who's just slipped in with James F. Costa, who's not been able to set a time. So we are going to roll this to grid. And these guys are going to get started for race 1 of the American GTE series. I'm excited for this. This is going to be wicked. I think these guys have been putting a lot of work, and there's nothing like the feeling of a start of a new series where you got to size each other up and get a feel of who you can run with, who you might have to give a little bit more room to, and everything else. So this is going to be some entertaining stuff as we do roll over to grid.
Absolutely. I've been looking forward to this one for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, it makes you want to get in the
Finally
car
took
and
the
get out there. I know. We should get out there, Casey. We can commentate and drive, right?
Let's do it, man.
How hard can it be? Let's get out there. Let's show them where it's done. Well, no. Not on past experience with me and you at Suzuka. So, but that's a story for a different day. So here we go. Cars are lining up here. So we're going to put a quick message out to them. Here we go. Oh, it's exciting.
Oh, absolutely.
You get that fizzy feeling when you're sat on a grid of cars and
just broadcasters know.
Let's get out there, Case. Come on, let's do this.
Did you see that plane that just appeared in the background?
Right now, the nerves are on 10. You're waiting to go, waiting to see what happens. You got all this stuff going through your mind. You're not really sure who you got next to you, and you're heading down into one of the most difficult corners on the entire sim racing service.
I think it's one of the most hardest de-accelerating corners. You go from knocking on the door at 200 miles an hour down into a second gear left-hander.
It's very deceiving. On paper, Daytona looks like a fairly simple track, but when you get out there and you start turning laps, turn 1 can be an absolute nightmare if you get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're talking about packing 25 cars.
Yeah. 25 cars are very different classes. You've got very different classes of what's going on out there at the minute. So we've got drivers with 1,000 I rating, we've got drivers at nearly 4,000 I rating, and some of these guys have probably never even raced together on any sort of platform. But as we see them going through what is turn 3 of NASCAR now, we are going to be going green, and I'm sure these guys are sizing each other up. James Howard's put himself in a lovely position, smacked in with a load of pros around him. So his main priority is probably going to be keeping hold of that field, making sure they don't get away, and making sure he doesn't have to. As we do know, the pros do have the priority on track, so he's probably thinking, I don't want to be compromising too much, but the rule is that he will have to let these guys go if they are quicker than him.
Yeah, if I'm James right here, I'm just trying to hold station, make it through the first couple of corners, and then see where I'm at. Especially coming back up on a NASCAR 1 and 2.
So the pace car is off, and here we're coming to the green flag. We have a green flag. Here we go. So all good at the minute, and they go into the braking zone for turn 1. James Howard is on the outside. Side by side. So there's still side by side as they go through turn 1. All good at the minute. We've got no cars around. Well, they managed that one cleanly, and as they go into the horseshoe here, they get themselves singled out. We do have a bit of side-by-side between two of the Team Valhalla cars. We've got Spec Welch and Gavin Boyer managed to get themselves sorted out and get themselves in single file. Still no cars around. We are having a good green flag first lap here.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are just feeling stuff out right now. Trying to get to the first couple corners clean, establish themselves in the race, and then take it from there.
Yeah. Jersey Glack has pulled.
Oh, we got a spin.
We got a spin. I think he's managed to get himself sorted. Just be careful on the rejoin there as he comes back on track in front of Sam Lira. But Sam able to avoid him. Cars are going round him quite happily as the leaders are going into the bus stop chicane. Okay. So here we see a replay of Gavin Boyer just getting it all sort of out of shape.
Yeah, it looks like he just grabbed the power a little too quick coming back onto the NASCAR oval, and it'll do that to you. It'll snap right around.
Oh, we do have a car in the wall, though. After the bus stop chicane on the back, we've got Eric Kaluga there, front missing off of that Chevrolet. So he's unfortunately, yeah, that could be race over for him. Let's see what happened there.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just... Oh, the car's got unsettled and he's gone nose into the barrier, which is a massive shame. Nothing he can do, really. He's just a passenger. Cold tyres.
Oh, man.
Cold tyres, curbs, devastating consequences. Unfortunately, that will probably be the end of his competitive race, whether he can get it round to the pits and keep going. Sorry, I think I said Chevrolet, but no, that's a Ford. My apologies for that. That is a Ford. Unfortunately, the Ford has bitten him hard there, turned him straight into the outside wall. Let's hope he can get that car repaired. Definitely back out for race 2, so I'm sure he'll get his team of mechanics on it and get the sledgehammers out. So let's
was that
get
James Howard off track there.
Let's see what happened to James Howard. Just locks up, manages to just brush the barrier, so hopefully no damage to James. Just a brush of the barrier there, nothing major, as he drops in. I think he's now going to be 3rd or 4th in class. He's behind another AM of Daniel, and currently leading the AMs. I believe we've got Lydon Lee leading the AMs with the VRT car. So it's an English-based team. Is VRT. Lydon's one of the US drivers that does race for them, and he's out there showing them how it's done at the minute, being the leading AM.
Yeah, lots of action early here.
And it's just simple mistakes. It's grab a brake going into a braking zone. You know, these guys have managed to sort themselves out really well in regards to getting in single file and not doing anything silly this early on into the race. Bear in mind they are going to have to pit during this race, because then there's no way they can go the full distance on the fuel they have. So they're going to have to pit, but they are keeping themselves respectful and not putting themselves in any positions this early on in the race, which is good to see. Just simple driving mistakes, unfortunately, at the minute.
Yep, just cold tires. We're seeing cold tires, I think, biting a couple of people, trying to push it a little bit too hard here in the early going.
So the top 3 of Jersey Kalat, Christian Furs and Jeff Applegreen are fairly close together. So we've got Corvette, Porsche and Porsche as they head out onto the banking. And again, it's who can get the draft going here. And that Chevrolet just seems to pull a few tenths on the Porsches as it accelerates up through the gears. So maybe top line speed is something, as you said, Casey, that is going to be a factor in this.
Yeah, I really think that's really going to be the vet's strong point here. I look for the Porsches to be a little bit quicker through like the bus stop and the infield here, but I really think the Corvettes have just a slight advantage when it comes to top speed.
So here we can see a battle going on in the AM field. Here we've got Stephen Martinez. And just behind him, we can see Sam Lira now with Jacob Schneider, a pro driver on his outside as they go through NASCAR's 3 and 4. And then just behind that, we've got Greg in that stunning-looking Porsche. Stephen there, unfortunately, probably having his teammate in his ear saying how much he's regretting making that mistake into the bus stop chicane. Just going down into turn 1 at the minute.
Sam and Jacob side by side going down in here.
Yeah, Sam.
Jacob gets loose.
Bit of contact there. We've got a car off ahead of them as well. So William Paisley there. One of the guys who's been setting some really good times in the practice has just managed to get turn 1 all wrong, go out wide onto the grass. No contact though, he'll carry on, but he did brake really late there. He was really late on the brakes and got it all locked up. Did a fairly decent job of keeping out the barrier, but he would have done a better job if he didn't have that problem in the first place.
I think we should give a shout to Taylor Lane here. He started in the back, didn't set a time for qualifying. Yeah, it looks like he's kept the car pretty clean, and he's starting to work his way through the field here.
Yeah, Taylor is one of the fiercely forward drivers, so that is a very shall we say, upper in the esports section. As he's on the back of Sam Lira, just reeling that forward in now as he comes into the bus stop chicane. Is he going to make a move? He's looking. He decides to do it. Sam has lost it on his own. Is he going to come back on? No, we've got a car going straight on as well through the cones. They all manage to keep themselves going. Sam there gets it all wrong. Just hit the brake pedal. It grabs and just puts him flat out sideways. But luckily everyone avoided him as he came back onto track.
Yep, I think Sam just outbroke himself there. Yep, Taylor looking to the inside, and I think Sam saw him in the mirror, and it might have messed with his head a little bit, and I think he was probably trying to outbrake him there and just ended up outbraking himself.
Just unnerved him there a little bit, unfortunately. The Ford has a tendency, when you grab the brake, of just doing strange things. Not quite as strange as the Ferrari. I think the Ferrari is one of the worst cars, actually, under the brakes, but I think he just grabbed the brake pedal a little bit too hard there and unfortunately pitched the car, stage left, and managed to get it straightened up without any major consequences. But I think the battle for the lead, we do have 3 cars, all probably within a second of each other up the front there, with Jersey Glack, Jeff Applegreen and Christian Furs. Christian's holding his own there, doing really well in that Porsche. Bear in mind, it's probably, it's not probably, I can tell you exactly, it is 1:36 a.m. for him. So bleary eyes staring into his screen. And he's doing a fantastic job of keeping on the back of these 2 guys here, Jersey Clack and Jeff Applegreen. And that car of Jeff's is just stunning. Look at that. That is a proper paint scheme.
I think we got a pretty good battle heating up here between William Paisley and Taylor Lane. They're closing in on the AM driver of Steven Martinez here going through the bus stop. And William Paisley's all over the back of Taylor Lane right now.
Well, William's been one of the quicker guys going through in the practice sessions that we saw, doing a really good job of setting some really fast times. And Steven Martinez does do the honourable thing of putting that car up wide, letting Taylor Lane go. And is he going to let William Paisley?
Looks like they're going to let him go through.
Yeah, he lets him go through. So again, that's good respect there from the 2 drivers, just allowing them from Steven to allow the 2 pro drivers to go through. Taylor's gone wide, and he's showing the door to William. William's not going to do anything through the chicane here, but he might do something as he comes up to the horseshoe. He's just too far back to make a move from there.
Oh, Taylor locks him up in the horseshoe.
So Taylor, they're too wide. Taylor's got
the doing the kink here. You can't go through here too wide.
No, they've got themselves straightened out. They're single file.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that can be really frustrating. If you're in Williams' position right here, this is something that can be really frustrating. You're sitting behind a guy, you can be faster than him, and it's really hard. Sometimes you got to be really aggressive to try and get that pass done.
Here we go as they go on to NASCAR 3 and 4. So Will is close enough here to be getting some sort of run. Whether he uses that into the bus stop chicane, we shall see. We've got 2 pros battling down the field here. I mean, the sensible thing to do for both of them is just to work out who's the quicker guy, tuck in behind and try and get themselves through the field, because there's a good 4 or 5 second gap to the car ahead of Michael Kaluga, who is an AM. But again, William gets a good run out of the bus stop. He's got a really good run on Taylor here as he's closing up. He's closing.
What's he going to do with it here?
Is he going to go wide? He's going to the outside here. So that's going to put him on the outside position going into turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably going to clear him coming down into turn 1 here.
Going into turn 1. Where's Taylor going to brake? He brakes later. Taylor brakes later. They're still too wide going into turn 1. Williams ran wide again. Just manages to keep it off of the grass there. So luckily, doesn't put the car in the position he did earlier. A little flash of the lights there, I think. Taylor didn't do anything wrong, held his line. They both held the line pretty well, but Williams just too eager on the brakes there. He just goes out wide, touches the grass. Lovely little...
That is one of the nice things since they did the repave at Daytona. You do have a lot of extra room down there to run out wide if you carry a little bit too much speed. Didn't used to be there. It used to be grass, and then you hit that grass and you're straight into the wall, and that's your day done.
race over picking your car up in a bucket, which is never a nice thing to be doing, I can tell you.
Yep, you put on the rollback and straight back to the garage and onto the hauler.
Yeah, good night. But I think we do have a little battle leading up here in the top of AM as Lydon Lee manages to go, unfortunately, through the grass, probably getting himself a slowdown. So Lydon Lee and James Howard here. If Lydon managed to avoid getting a slowdown
he's got a pretty good run here.
Well, Lydon would have got a slowdown by doing what he did through the exit of the bus stop chicane. So Lydon's going to have a slowdown. Probably manages to get it cleared. I'm sure he will do. This is for the lead of amateur. Now, I wonder what sort of time we're going to start seeing some pit stops, because these guys are going to be working on different sort of strategies. Some guys might be pitting early on, filling the car up and going what they've got for the run. Some guys will be pitting later, starting the car off heavy. Personally, I'd probably go smack in the middle, get it to sort of 27 minutes in, 25 minutes in, and then probably bring it in. But we haven't seen a pit stop yet, I don't think.
But no, I haven't seen anybody ducking in yet, no.
No, I've seen no cars coming yet. But now we've got a pro of Tom Mustakas, who's currently overall P8, but he is, I believe he's 6th in class now, over the back of Lydon. Oh, he got from Imola to Daytona pretty quick. It was about 2 hours, that flight. I'm pretty sure it's longer than that in the real world.
Did they bring the Concords out of retirement? Is that what happened here?
Concords, something much quicker than that. I think spaceship or some sort of cannon fired him over the continent to get into Daytona, because he Lydon was racing at Imola in the RSR World Series in the GT3s, and he's doing pretty well here. And I think, yeah, he's got the bus stop right there, so nothing major. So as we see here, Paul Lindsay and Gavin Boyett now. We've got 2 pros a little bit further down. This is 11th and 12th overall. And Gavin's going to have a run here, coming down here.
He's got a pretty good run.
Goes to the inside. Is Paul going to make any sort of... There's nothing he can do at that point. Unfortunately, once that car gets the run out of the bus stop, he gets a good run going into turn 1. The job done there. He's moves complete. But we do... Okay, so we do have our first round of pit stops. So Michael Kaluga is in his box. So let's see. He is now fueled up and heading back out onto track. Gotta be... So we've had a spin, I believe, in turn 1. Carl Fredrickson's managed
to...
Yeah, clip the grass. It's a very unforgiving mistress, the grass is here, so he's clipped the grass. And luckily, I don't even know. I don't think that's luck. I think that's pure miracle that the car's not grabbed more to the left. It's actually spat him out to the right and away from the pit wall entry. So he's doing really well in keeping that car in a relatively good straight line there. So my reckoning is we're probably going to see now as we're approaching the halfway mark, we're probably going to see a few more cars bringing it in. They're going to start the cars off at a medium sort of weight, not full of fuel, and probably bringing them in. So the first round of pit stop, or the first pit stop of Michael Kaluga has been and gone, as we can see. I think we've got William Paisley all over the back. Oh, slow down. He's probably got to slow down. He's going up high. And that's killed his run there. But he did manage to get back on the back of Taylor Lane. Now he's got it all to do again as he has to clear that slowdown right up in the top of the bank in there. Keep it out the wall. There we go. Slowdown cleared.
We just missed it, but Gavin Boyett totally blew the bus stop getting in. I don't know if he didn't think he could make it, or it might have been side by side with another car there getting into the bus stop. But...
So Gavin did miss the bus stop quite entirely there, and knocks cones everywhere, I think.
Yep, side by side with the Corvette, and just couldn't make it.
No, he missed the cones. I thought he did clip the cones, but he manages to lose 2 spots on track, even though they might not be They were for position, actually. So Andrew Hewson and Paul Lindsay, both in the pro category. And Gavin, unfortunately, manages to lose a bit of position there. But I'm sure Gavin's a good driver. Gavin knows what he's doing around here. And, yeah, he might work his way back up into it. What do we see in the front? So his teammate Spec Welch in the car 77 out in 4th place, dropping off the top 3 guys. Unfortunately, quite a rate of knots, but he was 8.791 seconds back as he crossed the line. So let's see what sort of gap he's managed to either bring it in or unfortunately fall further away. Let's have a look as he crosses the line.
Yeah, a bit of a 3-car draft, 3-car breakaway at the front. Jeff Appelgren all over the back of Jersey Glack right now. And this was something I was concerned about. I was really concerned with how the consistency of the Corvette, getting deeper into the run, how that was going to play out. As I mentioned earlier, not having those pre-made setups like what a lot of guys will tend to use, VRS, PDS, things like that. So,
well, one thing I think goes without saying is all the other cars have got a proven track record when it comes to setups and would have been tried and tested over many laps of maintaining tyre wear. The Corvette hasn't got that, so
exactly.
These guys have had this week, or as long as it is to run up to the series, to get one thing, to get the pace. But they're not only getting the pace. There's obviously a trade-off in what's the tyre going to do. And over 45 minutes, that's a long enough time with a track temp of was 31 when we started. It's now 29, so it's dropped a bit degrees Celsius. Sorry. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of pace that Corvette still has at the back end of this race. Jeff's going to have a run, but he's not going to do anything, I shouldn't imagine. Jeff's I think, got his head screwed on. One of the highest I-rating guys we have in the field is Jeff.
Yeah, I think he's just sitting back there, probably waiting for Jersey to make a mistake, and then I think he's just waiting to pounce.
Well, we've all been there. Tyre management is one. You don't want to be overcooking them. It's very hard with these GTE cars, very hard to try and get the tyres cooled back down if you do have a lockup or if you do something similar. But he is closing up really heavily. No, he lets out the throttle going into turn 1. So he's not going to be making any sort of move. There we go. But we do see the 96 of Christian Furs. Come on, Christian. Raidillon TV guy in the RSR World Series, so he supports the channel. And he is now on the back of the lead too of Jersey Glack and Jeff Appelgreen. Last lap time from him, 42.059. Lap time from Jeff Appelgreen was a 41.717. And Jersey Glack, 41.828. So all three, Jeff has a lockup going into there. So that right front now is going to be a little bit toasty as he comes into the left-hander going onto the oval. Manages it well though. Still maintains the gap, so there's no advantage pulled away there. And all 3 cars go on the pilgrimage down to the bus stop, because it's a fairly long stretch of flat-out throttle down into the bus stop chicane.
Yep, I do think those Porsches probably just a little bit quicker right now.
They seem to be. I think they're controlling the races. I think Jersey Glack's just out there driving. I think the Porsches are probably more in control of what they're doing and just managing the pace to what Jersey's got. I don't think he's got anything more or less for them really. But time will tell.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's got just enough speed left in that Corvette just to hold him off for now.
Okay, let's see what's going on a bit further back in the field. We've got 2 pros in 10th and 11th overall. Battling away as they come on to NASCAR's 3 and 4. Gavin's going to have a run on Paul Lindsay. Sorry, not Paul Lindsay, my apologies. In Andrew Hewson. Nice looking Corvette, that. I don't know if I like the wheels. I don't know if I like the wheels. They're a bit purple.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, we'll go with different. Nice. He looks to the outside as Gavin, but I don't think there's a move on there. Probably just trying to get a cut back to get a run down here. He has got a run. He is looking. He is looking. He's not going to do anything though. He's there.
Down the outside on the horseshoe. What's he going to do here? He's going to try and cut back, do the over-under.
That is close. That is close. He's right up the exhaust pipes of that Corvette now as they go into this fast left-hander, get the car straightened up, hard on the brakes, into the right-hander, double apex corner, and then they set themselves up for the final left-hander before they head out onto the banking. Ooh. Nice chain of cars we've got here. We've got Andrew Hughes, Gavin Boyett, Paul Lindsay, Kenny Rodriguez, and Taylor Lane, who's managed to catch up with the back of this 4-car field. So now we've got 5 cars all battling for what would be 9th overall. And Gavin is looking to the outside.
There we go.
That's a move if he pulls this off. What's he going to do? Backs out, still there? No, he's got out of it.
Yep, he had to back out.
That has compromised both of those guys' exit speed and entry speed. So
see, now if I'm Gavin right here, I'm backing up just a little bit, try and get a run coming out. And then where you really want to have that run peak is coming out right here at the exit of 3 and 4. That way you're not fighting distance. You can just utilize that run, get a clean shot to the outside, and hopefully clear them by the time you get down to 1.
Gavin doing here, he's on the outside, he's trying to get a wide line in, brakes a little bit late, doesn't manage to get the rub, he's got the run, it's contact! And that's Andrew turned around. Oh dear, Andrew's turned around, what's he do? He's in the middle of the track. Andrew, get it sorted, mate, come on. Lighting the tyres up on the grass. Oh dear. So, as we can see here, we've got Gavin Boyett just looking down the outside. It's an interesting move to try and make at turn 1, let alone through the next section after turn 1. And unfortunately, just puts his nose where it's not wanted, turns Andrew around. Andrew, no damage to the car, really. Does manage to get it straightened out and back going. But if that was if there was a car there, that could have been a pretty unpleasant accident. Tried to turn it around in a precarious space. Gavin, I'm sure, has given himself a strong word, I'd like to think, inside that car. But now it's a 4-car battle rather than a 5-car battle. But we do have another car on the back of them. And Daniel Tenorio. I really hope I've said that right. Casey, can you help with that? Is that Daniel's surname? Go on, have your go at it.
Tenorio. Yeah,
Tenorio. Okay, I did say it right. I will clarify after this so I don't get it wrong again. That's one thing of a new series that we've got to learn.
Definitely want to make sure I'm saying that right, but yeah.
Start getting hate mail after race saying that we're doing everything wrong. It's not what we want to be doing.
Battle heating up at the front of the field here. Jersey Glack, Jeff Applegren all over the back of him going down in the second horseshoe.
So we've got a potential battle for the lead. Now, when are these guys going to pit? We're 30 minutes near enough into this race. We're 28 minutes into this race, I believe. So we are going to have to start seeing some pit stops soon. And pit stops, if you've been practicing them, that is one place where you can really make up a lot of time very, very quickly in managing how you get on and off the pit road. Getting the car into the box as quick as you can and managing it off. You do not want to take any liberties getting off of pit lane, obviously, because with that horrendous wall, which I'm sure has ended a lot of people's races, that you have to manage when you come off of pit lane.
You can make up a lot of time, especially on the exit of pit road, but it will bite you in a hurry if you get it wrong.
It'll ruin your day.
Absolutely.
It'll make you wish you weren't been born, that thing. No move.
More than a couple cars wadded up there in the 24 hours and various SIMSA and WEC races.
Is a shame to have your race ruined at the just because a pit wall incident coming off the back of a pit stop is not a way you want to be ending your evening.
No.
Not seeing many M8s, if any. We haven't got a single M8 in the field at the minute, which is an interesting one.
I find that surprising, especially because the M8s, they're more known for their top speed. You know, they have a lot of torque coming up out of the corners. They carry a lot of speed down the straightaway, so I'm really surprised nobody chose to go with that car.
Now, here is the latecomer, and there is a bit of a story to how James F. Costa is in this race. So James Costa missed the practice and qualifying session because his cat chewed through his Ethernet cable. So he managed to get it sorted just in time to get into the race, but then he managed to set a lap while he was trying to fix the devastation that his cat had caused. But he's been working all week getting a setup sorted to get this Ford around this track as safe as possible, with still being able to maintain as much speed as possible. And he's done a really good job now. He's gone from what was stone dead last of 26th up to 17th overall. He's out there doing really well. He's actually 4th in class, which is a nice thing. I think he's going to have a lot of work to do to catch 3rd in class, as he has a little lock up there. Nothing major.
Yep. Oh, Andrew Houston spun it right in front of him.
Yeah, Andrew got that all wrong.
And I don't know if I stressed that enough earlier, but that corner right there, coming back on a NASCAR 1 and 2, it will bite you in a hurry.
Yeah, he's just got it all wrong over the bumps, unfortunately, and car goes around. I don't think there was any contact between him and James Costa to rotate the car, but the car was already done. It was just, if there was any contact, it was just the final nail in the coffin to actually turn him around. But Costa did a good job of avoiding him. I don't think I don't think there was any contact, and if there was, it was very small. So
no, it looked pretty close, but I don't think he got into him.
Andrew's having a lousy race, fortunately. But that's why we have 2 rounds, so I'm sure he's got enough stuff pent up in him there to make stuff happen in race 2 with the car with the interesting coloured wheels. Nothing wrong with the wheels, just not the colour I'd have gone for. As we see cars coming onto pit road, so we've got Taylor Lane, we've got Kenny Rodriguez in the pits. We've also got Chris Hamer, who's boxed as well. So again, we're seeing these pit stops just after the half-an-hour mark into the race. And Chris Hamer comes out of his pit stall. Now, come on, Chris, don't make any mistakes here. This is where your race will end if you hit any of those things there. No, they've all done well so far. Taylor Lane and Kenny Rodriguez are coming back onto track after their pit stops. But we see here, back to the leaders, Jeff Applegreen managing to keep it within at the last time they crossed the stripe. Just a couple of tenths difference in what's going on, as we see John Casey locking up the brakes there around him. I'm sure that was a bit of a scary moment for Jeff as John locked up the brakes on his inside. Jeff knows well enough to leave enough room that these guys obviously just trying to work each other out and see who they can really race with, and who maybe you've got a little bit more giving. You've got to leave a little bit more space, and that's one thing. I raced professionally for 3 years, and that was always one thing that I knew from real racing, was there was drivers out there you could really get up and on and rattle the cage and have some fun with, but there was other drivers that you took your life in your own hands when you thought about going around the outside of them. So
yeah, absolutely.
You just kind of work each other out. You kind of get a feel, is this a guy I can play with? Is it not a guy I can play with? And it always tends to be the guy you think you can play with is actually the one that does end your afternoon. But anyway, managed to pull a big gap though. I think that's hurt Jeff, having to go out wide and while John had a lock up.
Yeah, he's fallen off the back of Jersey here just a little bit, but I think we'll see him close up fairly quickly here.
Well, he'll still be well within the draft, won't he? So he'll still be getting a good run. And of course, this track.
The draft on these cars, you're looking at about almost 2 seconds. You can still get a pretty good draft about 2 seconds back.
Yeah, he's well within that. So he's. Let's see what the gap is as they cross the line. So Jersey Glatt's just going over the line now. Jeff goes over the line. And the gap is just over half a second, so 0.664 of a second gap between the two guys. Christian Furs, unfortunately, has dropped back a little bit, so he's 3.5 seconds back. Christian might be playing the game of managing his tyres, maybe, or just trying to box clever with it.
Yep, coming up on some lap traffic here. Got the Porsche Matt Balthisi.
Taylor Lane has grabbed a whole stack of positions from 26th to 14th. He's having a great afternoon. Got a car in the gravel, nothing major, just a little run out wide, gets himself straightened up and away he goes. So we're seeing more cars coming off of pit lane. We've actually got an overtake off of pit lane there as well. As I think John Casey allows Tom Moustakis to get off for pit lane just before him, which is a nice thing.
A really classy move there.
Yeah, it's nice when you see that sort of stuff that guys sort of let each other go. We've got Tom Moustakis looking round the outside, doesn't manage to do anything, actually compromises his run quite heavily on Taylor Lane. We do have a couple of pros here. And this is lap traffic, so this is after pit stops, because Taylor has pitted. I think Andrew's pitted as well. And now Tom has caught these guys back up, so these guys are going to be on cool tyres. Your lap after you come out the pits is always a fairly decent one, because you're on fairly cool rubber. You've not got, you're not overheating your tyres or anything silly. Nice looking purple, that is. That's the sort of purple I like. I think that's a stronger purple than the wheels of Andrew's car. We're really getting into the conversation of purple now. Yeah, nice purple. Nice spec map on that. I'll bring it out proper. We've got purple wheels versus purple car. And this is 4. At the minute, it's 10th and 9th, but that's going to all change as they cross the line. And then we're going to see, I think, some more pit stops as well. We've got Carl Fredrickson in the pit. We have Chris Hamer's already boxed, so pit stops are trying to wash out now. As I'd guess that most of these guys have done their stop. Tom is on the back of these, and again, Tom's been working on his setup really hard. Tom's a fairly decent strategy person. You know Tom quite well, Casey. Tell me a bit about him.
Yeah, he's excellent when it comes to, analyzing the car, analyzing what it's doing, and building setups off of that. He is absolutely fantastic when it comes to taking, a car that you go out there and you run 1 or 2 laps, you're like, this is crap, we can't do anything with it, and he'll be like, all right, well, let's do this. And he's really good at just taking something and turning it from crap to great. So,
100%.
And especially, yep, absolutely. And he is a very good strategist. He's really good when it comes to figuring out the fuel numbers and all the little things that can really make a difference when it comes to endurance racing and just racing in general.
Analytical, I think, is the word.
Yes, very, very much so.
He's always come across as quite an analytical person whenever I spoke to him. I think we did the 6 hours of Monza not so long ago, and Tom was on hand to give us information on fuel and stuff, and worked out whether we could or could not make the race. And turns out we did make the race, but that's only because I broke the car, and then we ended up with a substantially broken it. In fact, no, we didn't even finish, did we? What am I on about? Yeah, forget that one.
Yeah, he's always looking for that little thing that can give just a slight advantage. And Andrew Houston looks like he's dunking on the pit road.
He is. He's in the box. So let's just see how he does going through here. As Andrew is now in his box and Tom is down the road. I don't know, have we seen Tom pit yet? Ooh, that's a wide line. Will's going to watch himself as he comes through there, because that might be an infringement on exit of pit road. As soon as you put a wheel over that white line, it does have a big effect on whether you get a penalty or not. But only time will tell with that one, whether Tom has got the Will has got the penalty. As Tom has a little lock up there, they're side by side. It's not a place you want to be side by side. And Will does the clever. He tries to get the run and nearly clips
the over under.
Yeah, he nearly clips the back. He did get the power down perfectly, but Tom's car was there, and obviously the wisest move was not to go through Tom, because that would have caused all manner of issues. But he has got a run here,
so Will another run here.
He's got a run. He's gone
inside. And Tom does a sensible thing and just backs out of it.
Yeah, that is a sensible thing there. I think, and there's a lot to be said. If you put it too wide through that chicane, not only have you got the risk of what you're gonna do to yourself, but you're also going to run that risk of losing a substantial amount of time to any cars that are around you. Here we go into the final sort of 5 minutes of this race here. As they cross the line, we're going to be pretty much bang on 5 minutes to go. So the gap at the front of the field between Jersey Glack and Jeff Applegreen. In fact, Jeff Applegreen has gotten ahead where we've got a change for the lead. Sorry, I missed that. So Jeff Applegreen's now ahead of Jersey Glack. And now it's Jeff's race.
We've seen these guys pit yet, though, have we?
Good question. That I don't know.
I don't think they have. And we're coming up on, what, almost 4 minutes to go here. They've got to make a stop here before too long.
Ooh, they ran it side by side through the left-hand kink. Brave move. Made it good, though. Made it stick. Okay, Jersey Glack is in the pits. Jeff Applegreen has stayed out. So Jeff is trying to do the whole run. But if he does the whole run, he's going to get a post-race penalty because we do have a mandatory pit stop in this 45-minute race. There are 3 45-minute races on the calendar. All the other races are 2 half-an-hour races. So we have a 45-minute race today, and Sebring is another. And I should have checked what the other one is. Now I've said that and I've forgotten. I will find that out at a later stage. But the 45-minute races, we ensure these guys do have to pit. I physically don't think he can make it on fuel. From all my calculations that I did, if he can make it on fuel and be out there running them sort of times, the man is a freak, because there's no way you can save that much fuel. Sam Lera.
Close.
Oh, what happened there?
The leader.
Wow. So Sam comes out onto the banking, gets it on the bumps, complete self-spin.
Yeah, looks like the car ran over the bumps and he was trying to just go full power. It just spun out on him.
He tried to get it turned around. Oh, damn, it's not that could have been very ugly. Greg did, I believe, make small contact, very small contact with that car. Ooh, that was close. That could have been a major shake-up in the race. No, he didn't. He missed him. Greg missed him by...
It had to be millimeters.
Oh, if that. I'm sure there was a fully clenched Greg Edney in that car then.
Jeff Applegren, too. That was almost his race done right there.
Yeah, Jeff probably would have been even more clenched than
Jeff
Greg.
On pit road. Jeff's making his pit stop right now.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting to see where Jeff comes out in relation to where Jersey. And Sam's around again. Oh, dear. See, that's the problem when you cook the back tyres. So they're just... That car is just... You need to be so careful once you've got them tyres at a point where they're cooking.
We're going to have a pretty good battle for lead right here.
Jersey
going to be about 10 car lengths behind here. Not even.
So this is all going to depend on where Jersey can get, still maintain the draft as he comes out onto the banking. But I'm certain within that sort of distance he's at the minute, he is going to get a good draft as they do come onto the banking. I think he's only about a second back.
Yeah, he's still well within that zone where you want to be to get, that maximum benefit for that draft. But he's really got to make something happen here. Might be coming around to the white flag.
This could be the white flag. I think it will be, because we are within the last minute of the race. So whether Jersey's close enough to actually make a difference, he's got to put in a serious lap. But we'll see. Everybody else then on back is fairly split out. James Howard, a guy that we've not heard much from since the start of the race, is out there leading in AM. We then got Lyden Lee in second in AM. But then we've got a little bit of a battle further down with James F. Costa, who's now caught up on the back of Stephen Martinez. But James is a little bit far back, potentially to make a move. Little lock up as he goes through onto the banking. James Howard's done a wonderful job of maintaining his starting position. I think, did he start?
Yeah, he really did. He really did. He had that little mistake in the beginning, but he did well to recover. You know, didn't panic. You know, he's done a great job since then, keeping it on track, keeping it clean, and just running his race.
That's all you can do, really, is manage what he's doing. But he's done a good job. And I think we are on the last lap of the race, I believe. I haven't seen the white flag. Can you see a white flag?
I cannot see a white flag, but I would imagine this has to be the last lap.
But I don't think Jersey's close enough now to be within the draft. Jeff has pulled a good, it's got to be a couple of seconds there, I think, on at least probably about a second and a half.
Yeah, he's coming up on the bus stop here. All he's got to do here is just get it through nice and clean and just stomp the gas coming out, and he's got himself an easy win here.
If this is
the
one.
Road home.
So looking further down the field, it's sort of how it was. It's Jeff Applegreen, Jersey Glatt, Christian Furs, Spec Welch is in the 4th place pro position. And Jeff Applegreen, there's a car locked up in front of him there.
Was that not the white flag?
We are still racing, you know. This is still happening. And Jersey Glatt is 0.906 seconds behind. So he's well within that draft now.
Yep, it looks like he's trying to make a push here.
Here we go. So we've got
that's getting held up by lap traffic here.
A lap traffic car that's gone off anyway. So that car's off in the gravel. But we're going to stay with Jeff Applegreen and Jersey Glatt here in the battle. Okay, so I've just been informed from guys on track that we do have one more lap after this. So they must have crossed the line just before the 45-minute marker. So they will be coming to the white flag on this lap, I've been informed. So we are going to see the white flag come out.
Really pushing that car through the bus stop, trying to get that draft.
He gave it everything, then trying to make sure he can get up on the back of Jeff Applegreen. But
like I said, this is where that vet, that's the strength of the vet right here, is on the straightaways. If he can catch him, it's going to be on the straights.
Well, there is 5 kilometers an hour difference between the two cars at the minute.
And he is really closing up on the back of him.
Yeah, that was 302 kilometers an hour as they come down into turn 1. And that was less than half a second gap between these two. But this is where you've got to be asking yourself, it's a championship. It's not just one race, and we are on the first race of the season. So whether Jersey Glatt just tries something, and the place to do it will be probably into the bus stop chicane, or the last chance he's going to get. He's too far back through the infield section. So whether he's got a run coming onto the banking to get onto the back of Jeff Applegreen is a story that we'll find out.
Locks him up into the second horseshoe.
He has a lock up there, so that's going to have an effect. And Jersey's going to be well within that draft now. And Jersey's broke a lot. He's broke a lot later going into that corner, but Jeff's got a good exit speed onto the banking. And I still say that gap's about half a second there. I think Jersey got slightly eager into the braking zone and probably compromised his exit heavily to get onto the banking.
Just a little bit. Jeff definitely got the better run coming out of that corner there. All right, now Jersey's got to make sure he gets through here nice and clean, get a good exit, get a good run on him coming out.
He brakes late. He's within.
He's got a little bit of a run. He's got a little bit of a run. He's got the draft. What can he do with it?
Jeff's going to have the draft off Sam ahead of him. So I think lap traffic is actually going to play a massive factor here. I don't think Jersey's going to have anything for him because Jeff's being pulled along by a lap car.
Yep. Jeff Applegreen takes the first race. Great battle between these two, though, all race long.
That was respectful. I like that. It was good. We'll see further down the field what they're like. If there's anything happening, I think how they are is how they're going to be. I can't see anything happening. We do have
it out in the first horseshoe again on the white flag.
Got Jacob Schneider and Gavin Boyett through the bus stop chicane. Gavin's right on the back of Jacob in the 00 car. So let's just see if there's a move here. This is for 14th place overall. And there's no lap traffic in front of Jacob to help him. So this is going to be all on Gavin whether he does make the move. Pulling it in. I don't think
he's inching in there, but I think that's just too much.
That's not enough there. So, there we go. So, good racing on the whole there. Jeff Applegreen takes the first win of the season in the RSR American GTE Series. And that's going to be a nice feeling. That's going to be a stamp on your authority moving through the season, hopefully. So we'll go through. Casey's going to take you through the race results from round 1 of the RSR American GTE Series.
All right. So as we mentioned, taking the first win of the series, Jeff Applegren in the number 7. Second place, Jersey Glack. Third, Christian Fures. That is your podium finishers. Spec Welch brings it home 4th in the number 77. James Howard, he is your winner in the AM division and 5th overall. Chris Hamer finishes 6th in the 15. Taylor Lane brings it home 7th. 8th, William Paisley, and 9th. Second place in AM, that's Lyden Lee. And Thomas Stakis in the number 10 car brings it home 10th. That's your top 10. Bring it home 11th, Kenny Rodriguez. 12th, Daniel Tenorio. 13th, Paul Lindsay. 14th, Jacob Schneider. Let's see. 15th was Gavin Boyette. 16th, Michael Kalaga. Let's see. I'm stumbling over myself here. 17th was Andrew Hewson. 18th was James Casa. James did a pretty nice job there bringing it up through the field after starting dead last. 19th was Steven Martinez. 20th was Joe Jr. 21st, Greg Edney. 22nd, Sam Lear. Sam struggling there a little bit in that Ford. 23rd was Matt Balface. And 24th, John Casey. 25th, Eric Kalaga, and 26th was Kyle Fredrickson. Rounding out your field for this first race here.
So, Casey, we're going to do the random draw to see what the starting position is of the reverse grid. And I'm doing that as we speak. And we're waiting for the number. And the number is 15. So Gavin Boyat is promoted to pole position, and that'll be Jacob Schneider starting up on his left-hand side. All right, is it left or right? Brain fart. But the top row will be Gavin Boyat and Jacob Schneider, and we are going to be setting that grid up as we speak for race 2 of round 1 of the American GT Series. So let's get that set up for you guys now. While that's going on, I'm sure Casey's going to help fill this little gap while we just get this grid sorted out. So you can tell them how your weekend was at Sebring and that little story you told me of having a bottle of whiskey brought to you by someone.
Oh, yeah. We had Kurt Swearingen stop by our campground over there. And so to start from the beginning, he raced in the Porsche GT3 Cup Series race that they did earlier in the day. Unfortunately, the car broke down on him. He managed to win the championship. Had it all locked up basically as soon as he started the race, but something electronically let go in the car, and he pulled over right in front of my campground over there. And one of our guys threw him a bottle of water. It was a hot day, and And he kind of raised it in a toast to him, thank you. And none of us really thought anything about it. Well, later on in the night, about 9:30, he comes over with all of his crew. Brought his whole team over in their pit cart and brought us all a bottle of whiskey. And come to find out, he's actually the owner of the series that's going to be going back to Sebring next year for the 24-hour GT3 race. First ever 24-hour race at Sebring. And he's out there hanging out in Green Park with all the fans and handing out whiskey, and it was really blew me away. I was really blown away that he would take the time to acknowledge people like that. So
it's nice, those sort of things. They're personal touch, isn't it? So that's something that you'll never forget.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
somebody that takes all their time racing, and big businessmen like that, lots of money. You don't think typically they'd be that down to earth or that willing to just take their time and schmooze with people, out around the track. But he did, and it was really special. And I am really looking forward to getting to Sebring for that 24-hour race next year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this COVID goes away. We can all get back to normal.
Christ. When you have withdrawal symptoms or something. So I haven't been to a racetrack in the UK for. I just can't even begin to think how long it's been.
Oh man!
I spend most of my weekends either out driving or watching or being a part of motorsport at some level. And to be sat in my house with staring out the window is just depressing.
Yeah, exactly. And and I really was. I was in a pretty deep funk before I went over to the track and got myself a little bit of racetrack therapy, and I'm ready to go. My batteries are recharged. I feel like a whole new man. So yeah, hopefully, you guys got it a little more strict over there. Hopefully they loosen up a little bit for you.
Well, the only racing that I'm doing is sat behind my computer screen, which is a bit. It's one of them. It's not an issue. It could be worse, I suppose. It could be worse.
Yeah, that's true.
The grid is being set up as we speak, so we're going to be a couple of minutes just while we get this grid set up and get the drivers back out for race 2. And I think we're going to have. Well, it's going to be interesting because we're going to have slower guys at the front. We're going to have quicker guys at the back. We're going to have Jersey Glatt and Jeff Applegreen starting at the back of sort of halfway up the field, which is going to be
that's going to be
fun
exciting.
for all the drivers. Yeah, it's going to be good. It'll be good for the drivers to see what sort of. This is going to be the test now to see what sort of drivers we have, to see how quick these guys can move back through the field and try and regain the top spot. Really, is to see what they can do. So let's just see here. So yeah, we're going to take a short break. We're going to be a couple of minutes just while we get the grid all sorted out, and we'll be back.
It's all quiet in here.
We live?
We're still live, yeah.
We're still live. Oh, this is Rob. You're here. So we are just setting up the grid as we speak to get these guys underway for round 2. 15th was the grid position.
I do want to give a shout to Jersey Glack and to James Howard for running those Corvettes. I did think they were going to have a little more problem than what I was really impressed with how Jersey was able to hang on there throughout the run. So it's nice to see that the vet potentially won't have really any serious handling issues on those longer runs. I know in real life that's their strength, but the way things work from real life to the sim sometimes it's not the same. So
okay, we are looking good to get fixed up. This server is going up as we speak, so just wait for that to happen.
I just love watching that promo video, watching that car just go
Sky high.
absolutely to outer space.
Yeah, that was I think that was Louis Eggertson when RSR World Series, and yeah, I think he had about 3 rounds on the bounce where he ended up getting sent to the moon, about on the start, and he stuck with it. He was good with it, so he showed his worth with that. And what was a nice thing about that last race was no need for a safety car. That was a nice feeling. To be able to go from green to green with only minor little hiccups was a general all-round good feeling. So, there we go.
Yeah, night times, cooler temp, a lot more grip.
Yeah, the nice thing is with Daytona is you can do a night race and not impede too heavily on the visibility. So it's it's that nice feeling really of it. You're not having to battle the night time as much as you are on normal tracks that maybe aren't lit as well as Daytona. I think Daytona is probably the only, or that and maybe like Charlotte Roval and such like that have really well floodlighting.
Yeah, pretty much just the NASCAR tracks. They don't put the lights on full blast though. I think it's only about 20% that they turn them up to, but it definitely does make a difference. When you go to a place like Sebring or Road America or wherever else, you go there at night, and for the most part, except for a couple of spots around the track, like maybe the front stretch, it's full pitch black. So. And that really does, when you're going to a place that's full pitch black like that, it really adds another level of difficulty. So Daytona can be one of the more forgiving tracks when it comes to nighttime driving. And honestly, it's probably my favorite in terms of getting out there at night. You're not really stressing too much about the light. You just buckle down, focus on what you're doing, and get after it.
Okay. Casey, you are going to be on your own for about 15 seconds, about 30 seconds just while I nip to the loo, because I've needed to take a leak since the green flag fell, but I stuck through it, so here you go.
All right, sir.
You're not going to be completely alone. You'll have me.
Oh, I appreciate that. That definitely makes a difference.
So the one thing that I will take. So if you're new to my voice, hi, yeah, Robert O'Brien here, owner of Raidillon TV, and I'm running the cameras for tonight. So these guys kind of take a crack and get the experience of a lifetime commentating on a GT series. How was your first race, Casey?
It's been good. Definitely, this is my first time really doing a full-on commentating, so I think I got a lot to learn, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to this next race here, seeing how these guys can come up through the field. You're gonna have Jeff Applegren and Jersey Glack starting towards the middle of the pack. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out, seeing how they can work their way through traffic. So, but yeah, overall first race, I think it went well, but I definitely still got a lot to learn.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for the session to come fully up, and there it is. What are your predictions for race 2? And I know we're going to be racing in the night, so.
Ooh. Well, Gavin Boyette had a lot of speed, so I'll be interested to see what he can do at the front of the field. Not really, if he can get out of the first couple corners with a couple of car lengths, I think potentially he could put up a fight with Jeff and Jersey and see what happens. James Howard too. I mean, he's going to be coming up through there, so it's I don't know. Anything can happen when you bunch them all up and you turn them loose into turn 1. Anything can happen. So, and that's I think that's the excitement in it. It can be a crapshoot.
Exactly, yeah. Especially in the endurance races. So my background would be endurance and being able to do stuff like that. You do get that a lot.
Yep.
And I have returned.
Welcome back to the room.
Thank you very much. So as we load into the session, I think it would be fair to grab a quick word. We all right to grab a quick word with the winner of the AM?
Sure thing.
Let's grab him here. So we're going to grab a quick word with winner of AM, James Howard. So let's go and get him in here now. Let's do that, and I think he's here. James Howard, well done on your win in AM class. How was the Corvette? Bear in mind you've had no real setups to grab from anywhere, and you've kind of had to make this off the back of something else.
Right, yeah, I mean, I was actually really happy with the car overall. We put a lot of work in to get the car driving well, and we'd made a lot of improvements. I'm not sure we did enough improvement to, once the tires got heated up, I felt like dropped off a little further than some of the other guys. So I'm looking forward to getting under the lights here, having a little bit more grip, and seeing what we can do.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that we saw with Jersey Glack, who was the pro guy, and Jeff Applegreen at the front, and Jeff's in the Porsche, was potentially that Jersey might have been suffering slightly from the grip levels that were out there. But on the whole, Jersey came second, and that was it. So you think the grip on the hotter track had something to play into it over 45 minutes?
I definitely couldn't get the tires hooked up off of any of the infield turns. Again, I know there's definitely fall off. The track was warm and worn in, but I definitely think that we need a little bit more practice time, a little bit more setup time to get ours. I felt like we maybe dropped off, a second and a half on hot tires, and maybe the other guys dropped off 0.8 to a second or so. So we just had nothing for anyone else on the long run. Had a good little battle with Chris Hamer there, though, so ended up getting that last spot from him on after the pit cycle.
Yeah, well, Chris is obviously one of the pro guys, so he's ultimately the battle would have been in good taste, but unfortunately probably not achieving you guys anything. But we do like to see good racing. And James, well, thank you very much. Casey, have you got anything you'd like to ask James?
No, pretty much you asked exactly what I wanted to know, just how the car was handling over the course of the run. So, just well done, man. Way to recover after going off track there, and way to not panic.
Yeah, I thought we were done there for a minute, so I tried to step on the gas, hit the car as flat as I could, and luckily we got back up, around 10th or so. Was able to get some of those spots back. So, looking forward to under the lights. I hope the track holds a lot of grip and we can kind of go a little harder this time.
Do you think you incurred any? Do you think you incurred any damage from clipping that wall, or was it just a brush?
I was able to be around one of my teammates out there on the track, and he said the car looked clean, so that gave me some confidence. So once he said that, I went hard.
Yeah, go hard or go home, eh?
Oh yeah.
Well done, dude.
Yeah, well done on your round win, mate. That's how to stamp your authority on a championship. So I'm going to pop you back down there with your teammate. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got how long we got? We've got just a couple of minutes for you to get sorted, and then you'll be going in for race 2. So best of luck in that one, mate.
Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thank you. We're going to drag him back down. And yeah, as he was saying there, now we're back under the lights. It's going to be a cool race. The track temp is 90 degrees Celsius, 18 degrees is the air temp. Same sort of conditions. The date and time is set, or the date rather is set as it is in the real world. So they are racing on the 18th of November. The wind has dropped down. I think we saw, was it 15 kilometers an hour roughly was the wind. Now we're at pretty much 1 kilometer. So I don't particularly think the wind makes a massive difference to the cars in this. I've never really driven in a massive high wind and can't comment on that, but track usage has gone up a little bit as well, so track is now going to be rubbing in a little bit better, so there's going to be even more grip, let alone being cooler temperatures, because we've got just a minute and a half here until they go over into what will be green flag racing for race 2 at Daytona. Jersey black. Sorry, Case, what was that?
Any predictions? What do you think's going to happen here?
It's going to be really difficult to see as to exactly who's going to manage the traffic better. I think that's going to be the biggest thing as to who can get through. It's obviously going to be Jersey Glack, Jeff Applegreen, and maybe Christian Furs. And Christian Furs is the only person out of the three that I can really talk from experience. He's pretty on it. Like if there's a whiff of a gap, he'll go for it. But he seems to do it in a way where it's clean. He's never. I don't know. Christian's a very calculated driver from me racing against him. He will put the car in a position where he knows is going to be safe, and that is how, in essence, you win championships. And Christian, I think he came 5th in the first season of RSR World Series. And he had a bit of bad luck, but still managed to get it up to 5th. Was a really good call and a calculated driver. So you know what, I'm going to put my money on Christian Furs.
All right, I think that's a fair bet.
I think it's a bold statement because I think he's probably slightly pipped on outright pace, but on the whole, I think he's a good enough driver to maybe manage the gap. And I believe he is starting ahead of these front-running guys. So
he will be. Yep.
He will be. So
but yeah, like you said, it's going to be all about traffic, getting through the traffic, and going from there.
Yeah, exactly. So here we see Gavin Boyer is now on pole, with Jacob Schneider in the Corvette off to his right-hand side. Sorry, so I did have a bit of a brain fart earlier on the left, so he's now on the right. Paul Lindsay is now in 3rd. You've got Daniel Tenorio in 4th position. Kenny Rodriguez in 5th. Tom Mustakis in 6th. Lyden Lee in 7th. William Paisley is 8th. Taylor Lane 9th. Chris Hamer in 10th. James Howard, the AM winner of race 1, is starting 11th. Spec Welch in 12th. Christian Furs is back there in 13th. Jersey Glack in 14th. And the overall winner, as the pace car pulls away, of race 1 is Jeff Applegreen in 15th. And Casey, you are more than welcome to do the start of this one. And I'm going to leave that with you.
All right, sir.
Cars just coming through the bus stop chicane. Now, the start procedure is in force, so they will not be allowed to overtake until the green flag, or rather, until the car ahead goes. So it's going to add a little bit of fun to it. So there's no mad overtaking before they get down into turn 1. And as they come out of Daytona turn 4, that pace car is going to pull off, and Casey's going to call your start for you.
Yep, just waiting on the pace car to duck off here. And then the field is going to be turned over to Gavin Boyette. The pace car ducks off. And we are green. Race 2 for the RSR American GTE Series. Gavin looks like he gets a pretty good launch. Side by side for the lead down into turn 1. Jacob Schneider hanging high on the outside. Gets a little bit of a bobble that gives Gavin a clean run coming out of turn 1.
Well, we've got cars around. We have cars around at the back. Oh,
Kenny Rodriguez, too. Had a little bit of a spin coming out of the first horseshoe there.
So Christian Furs down into turn 1. Gets on the brakes. Does well. Oh, he gets turned by Jeff Applegreen there. Oh, and he gets... Oh, what a shame.
Man.
Oh, is that a commentator's curse? I'm not a commentator, but it definitely was a curse. Oh, man. Oh, that is such a shame. He just ends up on the pit barrier. Nothing to do, and...
Yep, you got that accordion effect going, and I don't think there's anything either one of them could have done there.
He's out of the race. So, yeah, it has been an interesting start to race 2. We've got cars. Jeff Applegreen has moved up to the grid, and I believe Jersey Glack is way up ahead of him. So Jersey's got the better run here. Christian, unfortunately, my man for the race is out.
Yeah, you got about a 10 to 12 car length gap between Jersey and Jeff Applegreen here.
Yes, indeed.
Pretty good fight for the lead here, though. Jacob Schneider's not letting Gavin Boyette go.
No. I think they're hanging on to each other here. So the Corvette obviously working quite well in the cooler temperatures. Jersey Glack has gone absolutely hell for leather and got himself up into 3rd position. So we've got Gavin Boyette, Jacob Schneider, Jersey Glack, Lyden Lee, and William Paisley on the back here. But Williams had a little bit of a moment, I think, and dropped back in turn 1. So I think your top 5 at the minute, Lyden Lee, and then Taylor Lane is bringing out the top 5 cars. As we can see from the back of Gavin Boyette, there's a lot of hungry GTEs looking to grab some spots off him here.
Yep, he's got 2 Corvettes hanging right off the back of his rear wing there.
So he's doing well here. And obviously Jersey Glack
looks like he's going to get a run.
Jacob has got a run. What's he going to do with it? He's gone to the outside. They are too wide going into the bus stop at this early stage in the race. Gavin does the smart thing. He lets out a bit. That is wide. Oh, there's contact. No. Jacob is off and into the barriers. Oh, dear. Gavin just got on the power.
Yep, and that was heavy contact with the barrier as well.
And I believe he does have some damage. So we can see a replay here. They go too wide. Gavin initially lets him go. Doesn't want to go into the bus stop too wide. Jacob just messes up the entry. Yeah. Gavin into the back.
Line.
Yeah. What effect is that going to have on Jacob's race? It's a shame. But Jersey Glack is now your pole man. He's out in front. followed by Gavin Boyett there. As we can see, these guys are bunched up pretty heavily. Lydon Lee, third place man. Taylor Lane in fourth, overall. And then James Howard is not far back. So James is going to want to try and do something with Taylor. Hopefully Taylor's going to, he's thinking hopefully Taylor gets round Lydon. Then it can then put him in a position where he can put some sort of attack onto Lydon even for the lead of Am. But Taylor has a lock up on the brakes. Oh, James has turned around. James is around. What happened there? So he's locked the rears up. Oh, and there's nowhere for Daniel Tenorio to go. Just clips him in the door, and we can see it. Yeah, he's all out of shape. Straight into the side of him now. Let's see what sort of impact that's going to have on the race. We've got an hectic start to race 2. That is a busy start to race 2 here. So let's see.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see what sort of lead Jersey Glatt can pull on Gavin Boyett, and I'm pretty confident that Gavin might be having some words said to him post race about what happened in that bus stop chicane. So as they come off of the banking of turn 4, they're going to be taking the start-finish line.
Just sent it down into turn 1. He made up probably about a good 8 or 10 car lengths on Jersey Glatt getting into turn 1. So that Porsche was really, really outworking the vet under the brakes there.
And they are line astern. So Jersey Glatt, Gavin Boyett and Taylor Lane are your top 3 pros. Then we have the leader of Lydon Lee in Am, followed by Jeff Applegreen. Potentially Jeff has got a bit of contact, or a bit of damage, should we say, with the contact with Christian Furs on lap 1. And a little bit of dicey stuff going on further down in the field. But I think they're all okay. There's a small amount of contact between Chris Hamer, and Joe Jr., but they're all still pointing the right way. Shiny side up, no issue there. Jeff Applegreen is all over the back of Lydon Lee. And Lydon really and he does the smart thing, lets Jeff go, which is what we like to see. A bit of respect there from the drivers. But Lydon doesn't want to waste his run as he looks to the outside of Jeff. But they're all okay. Lydon tucks in behind, does the sensible thing, nothing crazy, and sits in behind Jeff Applegreen now. And let's see what sort of pace Jeff has got. Bear in mind there was a bit of contact with Christian Furs, like I said at the start of the race. But Gavin Boyett has lost a position to Taylor Lane, ahead of Jeff Applegreen here, and that happened into turn 1. So Taylor's got the position on Gavin Boyett. Spicy stuff at the start of this, Casey.
Absolutely. And this is exactly what I was hinting to. Anything can happen when you scramble the field up like this and you turn them loose again. You can't, and you're talking about a shorter race than we had in the beginning. You can't wait around. You got to make things happen right from the get-go, and I think that's part of what we're seeing here. Guys aren't waiting around. They're trying to make things happen and get to the front as quick as they can.
Well, we're not far off being halfway through the race already, so they are going to be doing their absolute best that they can do to get through the field to try and get as much track position. Now, I know we do say that it's a championship. You're not going to win it on the first race. You're not going to win it on the first round. But at the end of the day, at the end of the championship, if you miss out on that win by 5 points, it could be this race that does it for you. So these guys are going to want to be doing as best as they can possibly do. And we can see Taylor Lane ahead of Gavin Boyett now. And Taylor's car, that's a nice looking car. That is a proper looking machine, that is, with that line on the side of it. It's firstly forward. Do make some stunning skins, yellow and black. They do some fantastic chrome work ones as well, which is starting to look. And maybe if Taylor can get his get the chrome work Porsche out, which I've seen, that'll look stunning as well. So Gavin's not hanging about. He's using every bit of talent he's got in his bag there to try and get on the back of Taylor Lane again. He's gone into the horseshoe much harder than Taylor.
Yeah, much better start of the race this time around for Gavin Boyette.
Yeah, minus the contact with Joe Schneider, of course, and we will see if that does result in any form of post-race penalty, but we won't know that until all the post-race penalties are fixed and sorted. And that'll be happening tomorrow. We'll have a busy day tomorrow with RSR World Series and obviously managing this one as well, but we do it because we love it. So, and Lydon Lee is still the top place AM driver. We're with Tom Mustakis now, and he has got mirrors full with Michael Kaluga. Michael being an AM shouldn't be any threat to Tom, I'd like to think. And I think those two guys together there are going to be fairly respectful of each other. Sorry, he's got Joe Jr. up behind him. My apologies, Joe Jr. in the Ferrari, the sole Ferrari that we've got out there. And that is a handsome looking Ferrari as well. That's a nice paint scheme. We've got some really nice looking cars out there today.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
It's a car we've not really spoke about, is the Ferrari. It's going to be interesting to see again what sort of speed he's got for Tom. And he is closing up as they come down to the start-finish line to see, is he going to be thinking of a move going into turn one?
He is. He's looking to the outside.
He's looking at the outside. He's not near yet, but he's probably going to try and get some sort of cutback.
You know, just like I've been harping on, you know, the strength of the Vet being their top speed. Ferraris have always been known for their top speed. You know, the question mark has always been their handling, and especially after braking. Yeah, well,
I was testing the Ferrari around here, and I just couldn't get. It was the braking that was something for me. I just could not get, when I hit the brake pedal, I couldn't get a confident pedal. Like, you know, when the car's going to do what you want it to do under braking, I couldn't get that feel. Obviously, Joe has got that feel. He knows exactly what it's going to do, and he's making Tom's mirrors fairly full of that red Ferrari, which is going to be in effect. And we'll see what these guys do as they go onto the banking of turns 1 and 2. He's too far back to do anything into the bus stop, but depending on how he takes the bus stop, might be setting him up into turn 1.
Yep. And another thing to think about, you know, it's nighttime. The lights are on, so as a driver, if you're looking up in that mirror, that can be something that's really distracting. Seeing those lights behind you. Especially when you're talking about going to the braking zones at the bus stop or the braking zones for turn 1, you want to look up and see just how close that guy is behind you. And see whether or not he's going to plow right into the back of you.
It's going to be interesting to see the first guy that uses the lights as a weapon as well, because we'd all be lying if we said we hadn't used our lights as the weapon to try and distract the guy ahead.
No, never.
No, we've never done that before. Oh, Joe has a little lock up there. Managed to get it all squared away. Doesn't lose any time. He actually gains time on Tom. So Tom must have had a slow turn 1, and Joe having that little lock up
out of turn 1. Just a little bit loose.
Joe's very close on the back of Tom here. Is that going to be a move? He's staying behind him, but I think what's going through Joe's head is going to be keep this infield section clean, get onto the banking, get the run, and hopefully get the job done on Tom. And then we do have pros all ahead from Will Paisley, Chris Hamer, Tom and Joe Jr. And then behind again, we've got a pro with the 00 Corvette of Jacob Schneider, who's recovered well after having the first lap off as a result of contact with Gavin Boyett. I don't think that's affected him too much. Looks like his top speed on the straights is still decent. I don't think that Ferrari's got anything for Tom. You know, he doesn't seem to be gaining anything at all in a straight line on him.
No, and I know we've kind of gotten away from the battle at the front here, but Jersey Black's not pulling out as much of a lead as I thought that he would be over Taylor. Taylor's actually close right up on the back of him. Here going into turn 1.
Tom's gone up wide. Now, has he got a slowdown from when he went through the bus stop? Let me just check here if he did have any sort of slowdown. I think he's got a slowdown. He cut
He's really slow on the front stretch here.
He cut the second right going into the bus stop.
Yep, and now he's got Michael Kalaga to worry about here going down to the horseshoe.
Oh, there's a bit of contact there in turn 1. Will Paisley got clipped by Chris Hamer. Chris Hamer just ran in the back of him. Chris is on the voice chat at the minute, giving his disapproval, thinking that Will Paisley moved, but he, unfortunately, Chris, I think he's the one at fault there, but it's all racing. They're all having fun. There we go. They've managed to come to a mutual agreement over voice chat that they're not going to take it any further, which is nice. As we can see, Jersey Black has got mirrors full of Taylor Lane.
Yep.
Taylor
looks like he's going to have a bit of a run here.
Yeah, you don't want to be showing too much room for Taylor. I've raced with Taylor, and Taylor, at any point in the race, will make a move. He goes in very deep, very late. Jersey gets back out of the brakes into turn 1.
Taylor, I think, is going to have another run here coming out of turn 1. Looked like he might have been thinking about doing the over-under, but he might have thought the better of it.
Well, that was all managing the braking there. It was Taylor later than Jersey with the brakes, and Jersey got back out of the brakes and managed to maintain the lead spot. But Taylor's gone for a look.
He is going for it. He's all over the back.
Well, they've only got 7 minutes to go here, so they're much shorter race than what race 1 is. So Taylor's going to want to try and get the move done, or at least make Jersey's life a little bit hell.
Yeah, and he wants to get it done quickly here because he waits around too much longer. He's going to have Jeff Applegren all over his rear bumper.
And there's Jeff in P3. Has managed to get within 2 seconds of these guys. The Jeff has carved through the field at a considerable rate of knot and got onto the back of the Taylor Lane. He's only sort of 2 seconds behind. And while these guys have been playing fisticuffs, that's played into Jeff's hands because he's managed to get through the field at a quicker rate.
Yep, if they keep fighting here, he's going to be all over the back of them before they know it.
Yeah. But let's just see here what sort of run Taylor can get and see if Taylor can do something. Taylor has got a massive amount of straight line speed. He's nearly at 300.
Really have that thing trimmed out. That's a hell of a run.
Here we go. He's on the outside. What's going to happen? Into the brakes. Does the same again. He's later on the brakes. He's out wide. Is he going to get a cut back? He's much closer to him coming out of turn 1. So what's he going to do with this? Has he got anything for him? He's looking inside. He is inside.
He's going to get it.
Oh, but he's run wide. And Jersey's gone back up the inside.
Oh, this is turning into a great battle here.
Oh, dear.
What's Taylor going to do here? He's looking up the inside again. Is he going to run it wide, though? Oh, a little bit of contact there from Jersey.
That's a love nudge. Just letting him know he's there, that's all. Got a car around him.
I don't know if I appreciated you running me like that, but...
Yeah, he's letting me know he's here, that's all. Robin's racing and all that jazz.
Unless you're talking about the 130R.
Let's not go there. Suzuka will never happen. Let's leave Suzuka where it was. Alright. All on that one I will say is the best man did not win. That's all we're going to say.
Wow.
Yeah. And Jersey's got nothing for him, really. It's to say, I think that Porsche that Taylor... Ooh, Taylor had a very bad line out of the bus stop. Is he going to have a slowdown? Jersey's on the outside. I don't know if he... Ooh, they are close. They're really close. Taylor does not want to give that up. Taylor doesn't want to give that up at all, but he might have...
Looks like Jersey trying to do a bit of side drafting here.
Yeah, he's all over the side of him.
Side by side, going down into turn 1. Who wants it more?
Taylor keeps it. So Jeff is on the
Jeff
back now.
Appelgren is right there. They have brought him right into this fight.
We have the top 3 of race 2 in the RSR American GT Series covered by just
Lane
less
runs
than
it wide. Jersey he's gonna get a run. Side by side coming out of the first horseshoe.
Oh God.
Do not want to run side by side in the kink though.
Yeah, Jersey does the clever move there. They're coming up on lap traffic of John Casey, and John does the sensible thing, gets himself well out of the way, keeps himself to himself, and they are clear. Taylor pulled out a bit of a gap there.
Yeah, I gotta wonder just how hard Jersey's been running that car. I wonder if those tires are starting to become an issue for him. Jeff Appelgren all over the back of him now. But if Jeff's going to get around him, he's going to have to get him around him quick to give himself enough time to get up to Taylor.
I think we're going to have 2, maybe 3 laps left at the line. Casey, use your money with here while this battle unfolds.
Oh man, this is too close to call. It's been a great race so far, but you know, seeing the pace that Jeff's had, I can't go against him. I think if he can get around Jersey here within the next lap or so, he might have enough time to get Taylor. But Taylor's definitely got that Porsche trimmed out.
Jeff gets the move done on Jersey there. Nice clean move. Nothing Jersey could do. He just ran that car out slightly wide off the apex. And Jeff is through into P2. But if Jersey stays on the back of him, he's probably going to have the run. And I think we've seen that the Porsche has got a little bit more than the Corvette in a straight line. And all while these guys are battling on, Taylor is just carrying on down the road. But they both are still within Taylor's draft, and Taylor's got no one up ahead of him to help him out here. So as he comes onto the banking, he's potentially going to be a bit of a sitting duck for these guys to get onto him.
Yep. Yeah, and Taylor's got to be careful here. He's been running wide on some of these corners, and if he keeps doing that, that's going to bring Jeff all over his rear bumper.
Yeah, we're just going into 3 o'clock in the morning. So Taylor, being living in the UK, is going to be bloodshot-eyed and probably living on caffeine. Not seeing any flashing of lights yet, you know. No one's using the lights as a weapon.
No, and that's a class act there. I like to see that.
Yeah, last lap of the race yet, mate. Still plenty of time for that. They are all pretty evenly spaced. The gap between Taylor and Jeff is slightly more than it is between Jersey and Jeff as they come across the line. And I think that Porsche has just got the legs on the Corvette because Jeff managed to pull a couple of car lengths on Jersey there. As Jersey does close back up in the braking zone. But Taylor has run wide
again. And look at this, all over the back of him now.
Taylor needs to be tweaking that brake bias back a bit because all he's doing is cooking the front tyres. Goes defensive into the horseshoe. Gets it straightened up. Perfect space in between these cars at the minute. A little bit of damage to the back of Taylor's car there. I'm not too sure where he got that from, but there is a definite kink to his rear wing.
Just excellent racing from these 3 guys here.
Yeah, they're doing well. What we wanted to see.
Absolutely. You know, you got 3 guys here, late stage of the race, battling all 3 of them with a chance to win. You can't ask for much more than that.
But Jersey has dropped back quite a bit off the back of Jeff Appelgren.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling on the straights this race. I'm wondering if he dialed a little more wing or something into that car, just trying to get it to handle a little better, and I think that hurt him on the straights.
100%. Jeff was very aggressive through the butt stop, using every bit of tarmac and a bit more to try and get a run onto Taylor Lane. Taylor's a wise old fucker. Taylor's been doing this long enough. I think this is going to be a white flag as they come across the line here, potentially.
Jeff looking high. What's he going to do?
He is. He's out there. No, Taylor has a
Got
squirrel.
it back. Taylor runs wide.
Taylor
Jeff
runs wide.
gets it through clean. Taylor all the way back to third. Jersey Glack gets around him as well. Now Jersey Glack, what's he going to do? Does he got anything for Jeff now?
I think Jeff runs a little bit wide there on the exit of the horseshoe, so that's going to compromise his speed out there. But we've seen what Jeff can do in race one. Taylor, steady boy. Has a little lock up there into the second horseshoe, just trying to get the car wound up without making contact with that car ahead.
You know he's definitely got to be kicking himself.
Yeah, mistakes happen, but it's cost him 2 spots, so he's going to be upset with himself. But as we can see, that Corvette, the Porsche is just leaving him for a straight line speed. I don't think that Corvette's got anything for him at all.
Yeah, I gotta think that's got to be an adjustment that Jersey made between the races, and I think it hurt him because he definitely had.
That was ridiculously late on the brakes there. He's really compromised himself. So Taylor is now on the back. Let's see what they do here. Taylor is going to look to the outside as they come off of the banking.
Yep, and I think Taylor, he's going to have the pace. I think he's going to get him here. So Jeff Appelgren takes race 2. And who was that at the line between second and third?
It was a tough to call.
Taylor.
It was Taylor.
Taylor Lane takes second. What a great battle between these three.
They did absolutely fantastically there. So Taylor Lane is second to Jeff Appelgren, who's the winner. And we've got Jersey Glack crossing the line in third position. There is still a little bit of racing going on behind them. So we still have... Oh, poor. So Taylor's just put a command out on voice chat saying he can't believe it. He lost it in turn 1. We do feel for him, but mistakes happen. And that was definitely a mistake. But they all crossed the line. That was a spicy race too. I think there's going to be a couple of chosen words said to each other, and maybe even a few protests coming through. Which
definitely going to be some stuff for the stewards to investigate after the race.
Yeah, it was a good race, and I think there's a real potential of the driving standards that we can see moving forwards. Guys not really giving each other much in the way of room, even this early in the race. So it's going to be Jeff Appelgren who takes the win. Taylor Lane is your second place man, and we're going to get the standings even on the screen. There we go. So we see Jersey Glack in third. Spec Welch is fourth. Gavin Boyer leads out your top 5, and he is the 5th place pro driver. In 6th place, we see James Howard, who was your top place AM. And then it's Kenny Rodriguez is 7th. 8th was Chris Hamer. 9th, Joe Jr. 10th was William Paisley. 11th was, I believe, your 2nd place amateur driver with Michael Kaluga. James Costa is 12th. We then have Tom Mustakas in 13th. 14th was Eric Kaluga. 15th, Jacob Schneider. 16th was Sam Lira. 17th was Greg Edney. 18th was Stephen Martinez. 19th, Carl Fredrickson. 20th, Leiden Lee. 21st was Matt Balsasi. John Casey was 22nd. 23rd was Andrew Hewson. 24th was Daniel Tonio. Christian Furs, with obviously the first lap incident which took him out of the race, finishes 14 laps behind in 25th. And the last position was Paul Lindsay, who finishes in 26th position, sorry. Well, interesting round 1. I think it shows some great potential for these guys moving forwards. Race 1 was very clean, very fair. Race 2, a couple of little bits and pieces that obviously that some of the drivers can work on moving forwards. But on the whole, great battle there.
Absolutely, that was absolutely fantastic stuff.
And you're seeing 3 guys on a very equal pace there, and maybe some differences in their I rating. But as we all know, I rating isn't everything. But I think 3 guys who have shown so we say, different characteristics in the driving style. Taylor lanes, get your elbows out and wrestle with it. Obviously, proving that's not potentially the quickest way to drive a Porsche RSR around Daytona Road Course. So, yeah, Casey, final words as we are at the end of our evening.
Just I don't think tonight could have went much better. We had a great race one. Jeff and Jersey put on a great race there at the end of race one. Really a great battle all the way through race two. Watching those guys carve their way through the field, and I think everybody had probably a moment or two in this one, in race two. But all in all, for first two races for a brand new series, I'm looking forward to the rest of it. I think this is going to be a great season, and a lot to look forward to.
Definitely, yeah. No, well, look, thank you ever so much for being with us this evening, and
Absolutely, thank you for having me on.
Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and thank you for supporting Raidillon TV. Rob, you've been sitting in the background, probably keeping yourself awake, however many ways imaginable. Yeah, thank you very much for allowing us to do this evening, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll sign us off. Thank you very much, guys, for joining in. Like, favorite, and subscribe. Our social medias are in the description below. Consider supporting us through PayPal or through the memberships on YouTube. Until next Wednesday, do take care, gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. I think the rest of us in the UK are about to clock off.
Yeah, you're not wrong.